Curry to Houston? I don't think so. That's a possibility. Saquon to LA? I don't know. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Big B Daily Show. This is your man, Big B, Brien Hanley. Welcome, and thank you guys for joining in. Got a good show today. I mean, we're going to talk about this NBA All-Star Weekend. It's an absolute joke, people. Absolutely terrible. We're going to get into NFL free agency, some of the destinations for the top free agents. And then we're going to talk about the top 5 running backs of all time. So, and then obviously we'll get into the open mic session. So we'll get into all of that. As always, everybody, remember, if you're live on TikTok, we appreciate you guys. Please give us a follow if you're not already. Keep tapping the screen. We need at least 5,000 likes and 30 new follows. So we appreciate that. If you are following, click on that YouTube link and come and join the show over on YouTube. Subscribe to Big B Sports Talk on YouTube. Come join the live. Let's have some fun. We appreciate you guys. Let's get into this, man. First up, NBA All-Star Weekend. It is an absolute joke. It was a joke. Now, here's the thing. There were certain parts of it that I could stomach. All right? There absolutely were certain parts that were good. The three-point contest, I thought that was great. That's always going to be great. Again, competition. You know, the Steph Curry against Sabrina, I loved it. That was great. If Caitlin Clark comes out, throw her into the mix next year. Reggie Miller had it right. Throw her into the mix and bring somebody else out. You know, again, good competition. But they can throw the slam dunk contest. You can throw that away. You can throw it away. First of all, the guys that they had out there, I mean, what are we doing? There was 4 guys. I'm like, what is this? What is this? And all they did was jump over people. I'm over it. And again, I know that every dunk has basically been done. But it doesn't mean it's not difficult. It doesn't mean it still can't be entertaining if somebody else does it. But we need some more star power. I'm just over it. I am absolutely over it. Just throw the whole thing away. Throw that away. Skills competition. I can get behind the skills competition. That was fun. The skills competition, I can live with that. But man, my man Deshaun said the All-Star Weekend was trash. Yes. It was just terrible. It was terrible. I mean, the game itself was so bad. 211 points, man. Come on, what are we doing? They're not even trying to play any defense. They're not even trying to go hard. I mean, you saw somebody on TikTok earlier said that Jokic and Luka were out there playing tag with each other. LeBron didn't play in the second half. I mean, now granted, he had that little ankle issue, but he didn't seem like he had an ankle issue in the first half. But I think the game, it wasn't watchable. I stopped watching because I'm like, I'm not putting myself through this. I'll watch some reruns of something because this is ridiculous. It wasn't basketball. And a lot of people are coming out, well, what would you do? Do you have a solution? I go, well, first of all, I'm not paid to have a solution. But second of all, it's not really that hard. Make a target score like they had a target score before. Do you know how hard those guys were playing? That was fun. That was entertaining. That was real basketball. When they had a target score, that made it competitive, super competitive. We need to go back to that. Unless you want viewership to just continuously drop and you don't care, you need to bring the target score back. Another avenue. Why not make it the world versus the U.S.? Why can we not do that? The world versus the U.S. So that's what I think. I mean, if you did that. You get a Luka, a Giannis, a Jokic, just to start. You get that against the USA team? Yeah, let's see what happens there. You know? And instead of the dunk contest, let's do a one-on-one competition. You get 3 dribbles, you get 4 dribbles. Do that. That's what I think you could do. That's exactly what I think you could do. Do something. So to make it sense. Bro can't even name 10 world players. I can, but I'm not paid to do that, Nate. And I'm not your bro. And I'm older than 22 years old. So speak like an adult. If you're going to come in here, speak like an adult. Yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean, it's just, I don't know. The competition was absolutely terrible. It was horrible. No competition, no backbone by any of these guys that want to try to stop somebody. So it was bad. It was bad. And like I said, if the NBA, if you want to try to fix this, you better do something, man, because this wasn't good. This was bad. This was one of the worst ones I think I've seen in a long time, people. It was bad. It was bad. And good question, my man Mike on TikTok. So why did they bother having the game? I don't know. If you're going to play like that, you shouldn't have it. And the game is for the fans. That's what you put on. The All-Star game is strictly for the fans. But they want to see competition. They don't want to see, I mean, that wasn't even a pickup game. And you know, the argument that they talk about, hey, guys don't want to get hurt. That's a legitimate argument, number one. Guys don't want to get hurt. So that's a legitimate argument. But guys are going harder in the offseason at a pickup game than they were going last night. So you can't use that as a player as an argument. You can't use that. So somebody said that was 5th grade recess. Yeah, that's what it looked like. It was terrible. And then I know you're saying that the weather in Indy didn't help, but the stadium was full. I mean, I don't understand how that had anything to do with the product that was on the basketball court on what the weather was like. It was full in there, and they weren't playing basketball outside. I mean, I can see if the game was outside, yeah, it's a problem. But the game was inside, so it didn't have anything to do with it. So it's a glorified shoot-around, yeah. And nothing but threes, guys taking half-court shots, although Lillard made 2. But that game is set up for a guy like Damian Lillard. All you're doing is shooting long-distance shots, and you're playing absolutely no defense. Well, isn't that what Damian Lillard is? I know there's Damian Lillard fans, but isn't that what he is? Isn't he a guy that does nothing but shoot from distance and plays no defense? So that game, he was the MVP. It's set up specifically for him. So that was his type of game. Let me just shoot as many long shots as I can, and I don't have to worry about the other end because I can't guard anybody and nobody's playing defense anyway. So my man Golf Hawk on YouTube has it right, just what we said. Replace the dunk contest with a one-on-one tournament. Absolutely. Somebody said play to 11. I don't even know if you got to play to 11. Get me to 7. You can do it on both ends of the court. So the 2 games are going on at once. I would love it. I would love it. Do that. Slow it down. You only get 4 dribbles. Hell, you could even say only 3 dribbles if you want. But I like it. I definitely like it. So Pro Bowl and the NBA All-Star Weekend are awful, says my man A over on TikTok. The Pro Bowl at least figured some stuff out. At least they said, you know what, we're not going to play this game because guys aren't going to tackle. It's hard to get guys to tackle somebody and block and do all that. So we're not going to do that. We're going to do this flag football. We're going to and do lots of skills competition and make it fun. I can at least dig that because the NFL said we can't play this game anymore because it's terrible. Let's do something different. I'm behind it. At least they're trying. It was fun. At least they're trying. NBA's got to try it. Again, get you a target score. Go back to the target score. Change it up. Look, as much as we love nostalgia and as much as we love the dunk contest, if you got guys out there that nobody's ever heard of who can't play in the NBA, do we care? And if it's going to be that, then don't just get guys from the G League. Go out there and get guys from that are out there just in dunk competitions that travel all around the world just doing nothing but dunking. Go get those guys. If that's what we're really doing, go get those guys and let them participate. Because if you don't have to play in the NBA, well, let's make it as fun as possible. Don't just settle for G League guys. And as much as we love Matt McClung or whatever, the guy he's not an NBA player. He's not. He's just not. And there ain't nothing wrong with that. But my thing is, if you're going to let people outside the NBA in, then go out and get guys that literally travel around, and that's what they do. You don't think they would take a chance at a dunk contest for the NBA All-Star Weekend? Of course not. So that's just my personal opinion on the All-Star Weekend. I thought it was terrible. There were certain aspects that I can live with, but the game ruined it for me. I'll be honest. The game ruined it for me. It was bad. It was that bad, man. I stopped watching about the middle of the second quarter. I'm like, I'm not watching this. This is despicable. It's just despicable. So if somebody has an answer, absolutely they can bring it back. My man K-Ned, he says trampoline dunkers. I mean, that's a sideshow, but I would prefer to watch something like that than the garbage that we got last night. You know, and again, if the NBA's trying, we've all just come up with ways that they can make that whole weekend better. We could all do it. 3-on-3 competition, elimination style, 1-on-1 competition, target score for the actual All-Star game. Anything to make it more worth our while. But they got to start trying. They got to start making this thing competitive. I mean, you saw Luka out there. He wasn't even going half speed. He was going about 15%. That's how hard he was going. Jokic looked like he was running up and down the court. I'll give him credit for that. He used it almost like a conditioning session. He's like, I'm just going to run up and down the court. And he was just having fun, just laughing. Is that what we want the All-Star game to be? I don't think so. I don't think so. Either way, let's move on, people. Let's move on. So, free agency is going to get rolling here pretty soon, next month. And the top free agents are, it's debatable. You know, it's debatable on who the actual top free agents in the league and the NFL are this year. But I think everybody would consider Chris Jones to be that guy. And we'll just kind of go through the list. Chris Jones is number one. Now, does anybody consider Kirk Cousins number two? Considering he was hurt, considering his age, I got this list that I got pulled up here. They got Kirk Cousins as number two. And I'm guessing, you know, I'm still getting used to the fact that guys can play into their 40s at the quarterback position because of the rules. You can't beat them up. You can't hit them. So, yeah, that makes sense. Kirk Cousins is probably number two. You know? And then you got Justin, and I'm going to butcher his last name, Madukbi, the defensive lineman for the Ravens. I think, first of all, I think the Ravens are going to keep him. I think Chris Jones ends up staying with the Chiefs as well. So, I think he stays. And I think the linemen's Madubuk, Justin, D lineman for the Ravens. I think he stays. Josh Allen for the Jaguars. I don't know why they would let him go. I don't think that he's going to be a guy that gets let go. I think he's going to be a guy that sticks around. I mean, Jacksonville did nothing. That's why the Jaguars weren't any good this year. It was because they just kept the same defense, made no moves, nothing from the year before, and then they got what they deserved. So, Snead, they talk about Snead going somewhere. Snead's not going to the Eagles, man. Snead's not going anywhere. First of all, because they'll franchise him. That would be number one. So he's not, there's no way that the Chiefs are going to let Snead go. They'd let Chris Jones go before they let Snead go. And I don't think either one of them are going anywhere because I think they can figure out what they need and how to get both of them done. But there is no way that L'Jarius Sneed is playing for anybody but the Chiefs next year. So, Jalen Johnson for the Bears. I mean, if the Bears are serious about winning, don't they have to keep him? I know there's Bears fans. I know there's a lot of you all out there. If the Bears are serious about winning, don't they have to keep this guy? So, and the Chiefs can keep both. They absolutely can keep both. So, they can absolutely keep both. There's a way to figure it out. There's guys' contracts. Mahomes is one you can restructure. And again, Snead can be franchised. So, wouldn't they keep Fields then? Why would they keep Fields with Jalen Johnson? Jalen Johnson's a cornerback. I don't see how one has to do with the other. So, but yeah, that's what I'm thinking. L'Jarius Sneed, they got it 6. I think there's no way that he goes anywhere. People are talking about Indianapolis. He's not leaving the Chiefs. Chiefs are not going to let him go. And if they do, it would be a monumental mistake. But I don't think that's happening. Christian Wilkins leaving the Dolphins. Talking about Tennessee or Washington. First of all, Washington's not a landing spot. I mean, they got Jonathan Allen and Deron Payne. So why would you get Christian Wilkins? Unless you're planning on getting rid of one of those two, which I don't think they are. So Washington is not a spot. Tennessee, I don't know why he'd want to go to Tennessee. They're rebuilding, but money is money. So we'll figure it out. Antonio Winfield, I don't think he leaves. There's no way that Tampa's going to let him go. He's too good, and they need him. I don't think there's a way that he gets out of there. The one that's intriguing to me, the two, I should say, that are the most intriguing to me are Mike Evans and T. Higgins. Mike Evans, I think Mike Evans stays in Tampa. And I know a lot of people keep saying, well, Tampa didn't pay him. I go, well, maybe Tampa wanted to see if he was going to still be productive at his age, which he clearly is. And I think Tampa is like, you know what? We'll give you the money because I think there's no way that Chris Godwin is on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers next year. I don't think there's any way possible that Godwin is on the Bucs unless he decides I'm going to play for way less. Because Godwin fell off a cliff. So Godwin fell off a cliff. So I don't think there's any way possible that Godwin plays for the $20 million like he signed with Tampa Bay. No way. Now, Mike Evans, I think he stays. Well, number one, I'm sure he loves living in Tampa. Who the hell wouldn't? Number two is he's already got a ring, so he's not ring chasing. So that would be number two. So I think there's a lot of things that we got in place here. Mike Evans, for him to stay. And he can get as much money. I think they'll pay him. It's not going to be stupid money, but I think they'll pay him. Now, T. Higgins, on the other chance, I don't think there's any way that he goes back to Cincinnati. They just paid Burrow. They got to pay Justin, or not Justin, but Jamar Chase. They just paid Orlando Brown, which is a huge waste of money because Orlando Brown's not any good. So they just paid a ton of people. There's not enough money left for Higgins. I think, and Higgins, I'm sure, wants to be paid like a number one receiver. I don't know that he is, but I'm sure he's going to want to get paid like one and go prove himself. The Bears would be a possibility for Higgins to go. Indianapolis, Buffalo, because I don't think there's any chance that Stephon Diggs is still in Buffalo next year. I don't think there's any chance of that. I think that relationship is done. So, a man says Michael Pittman is going to get tagged. Maybe. But why? Why not just pay him the money? Why franchise him? I mean, what's Michael Pittman done to say, you know what, we don't know if he's going to be productive anymore? And he's a wide receiver, and they need him. They need him. So, to me, that would be nuts. I think they got to just sign him. Just sign him. So, yes, this is actually what I think, Pearland. The Bengals might hit their cap for the first time ever. Finally, they use all the money that they are supposed to use. Jiminy Christmas. I loved how the NFL came in with that rule that you got to spend up to 90% of the cap, because the Bengals for years were just like, for argument's sake, if the cap was 100, we're spending 50. We're spending 60. We ain't even going to come close. And then they sucked, and then the NFL said, hold on a second. You got to spend this money. If we're going to pay you all this money from the league, you got to spend it and put a competitive team out there. And so the Bengals are finally going to spend that cap number. Good for them. Good for them. Same thing. Best case scenario, Godwin takes a minimum and they pay Evans. Yeah, because Godwin is finished. He's not finished as a player, but you can't be paying Chris Godwin $20 million a year. There ain't no damn way. He's just not good enough. He's just not good enough. So, I mean, they paid him. Good for him. But it's time to move off of that contract. So, it's time to move off that contract. Now, here's a good question by Joe B over on YouTube. He says, is there any chance that Justin Jefferson requests a trade? I don't think so. Well, I take that back. He can request a trade, but heck, Minnesota has him locked up for at least the next 3 years. He can't do anything. So if he wants to play football, he's going to play football in Minnesota for at least the next 3 years. And that includes 1 year as a franchise, if they choose to franchise him on a franchise tag. So he can request a trade all he wants. It doesn't mean he's going to get one. And if he wants to sit out, which he's not going to give up that money and get fined, he's not going to do that. So we'll see. We'll see. Y'all are arguing over here on TikTok about what? Main thing is, y'all keep tapping that screen on TikTok. We need at least 5,000 likes, which where you got that already. So let's bump it up to 10,000 likes. So keep tapping the screen. We want as many people as possible. And if you're not following, please give us a follow. We appreciate that. YouTube, love you guys, man. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. So I don't know, but free agency, that's kind of where we're at. Those are the top 10 in my book. Have y'all noticed, like, Brian Burns, like, he always gets brought up in trade talks. What are they going to do? Is he even really that good? Is Brian Burns from Carolina that good? I'm just asking, because I don't think that he is. I think he's okay, but I don't think he's this game changer. Now, he plays on a bad team. I'll give you credit for that, but I don't know. For his name to always pop up, it's weird to me. Danielle Hunter, they're saying he's going to go to New England. Maybe. Patrick Queen is going to get franchised by the Ravens. There's no question in my mind. They're going to franchise him. They have to. They can't let him go. They're going to try to run it back as much as they can in Baltimore. So that's what I think. I think Queen gets franchised because Queen had a good year this year, but in previous years he wasn't great. So I think they want to keep him. They'll franchise him, try to run it back, and then let him go next year, and then he can go sign wherever he wants. So that's what I believe. That's what I believe. My beloved Steelers, I don't know what we're going to do. First of all, we got to get the quarterback things figured out. As I mentioned, I'm coming around on trading for Justin Fields. I'm coming around on signing Russell Wilson. I'm coming around to both of those. I was against it early, but if we're going to do anything, I think we need another quarterback because I'm done with Baby Hands Pickett, and Mason Rudolph is not coming back. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. So I think that's what we got to do. I'm done with Baby Hands. Give me. I'll take Justin Fields and the weapons that the Steelers have. Give me Justin Fields. Give me those weapons. Get us a new center. Improve the offensive line even more, and then we got a shot. So, people are saying Kirk Cousins to the Steelers. I don't know. I don't know. Baker Mayfield. I don't think that if Tampa Bay lets Baker Mayfield go, now granted, he's a free agent, so he can go wherever the hell he wants. And I love that Baker has taken the approach of, hey, man, let me see who the offensive coordinator is going to be. Let me see who you sign, and I'll decide if I'm going to come back. I like that approach because didn't we all throw Baker out, just throw him out to the trash last year? And he fought his way back. Good for him. And I'm not a big Baker guy, but good for him. He fought his way back, man. He fought his way back. The Commanders have $75 million in cap space. Yes, they do. And they got to spend it wisely. I don't know why nobody's talking about Kirk Cousins going back to Washington, if he would, because Washington needs a quarterback. Now, with the second pick, are they going to take a quarterback and try to ride that? Maybe. But that would be the first. They got to figure out the quarterback and what they're doing and go from there. If I'm Washington, though, I don't trade up. People keep saying they want to get Caleb Williams. I don't trade up. Nope. They got too many holes. Too many holes to fill to be giving up draft picks. Washington Commanders aren't a player away from being really good. They got to fix that line. They got to get a quarterback, obviously, but then fix the line. They got to fix the defense. They have no more pass rushers on defense. So they got a lot. They got a lot they got to do, man. They got a lot they got to do. Josh Jacobs, where does he end up? People are saying the Giants because it's saying Saquon Barkley is out of there. Saquon leaving. Wouldn't y'all like to see Saquon, and I'm not a Cowboys fan, but wouldn't you like to see Saquon in Dallas? Wouldn't you like to see Saquon in Dallas? So, I would. Tyron Smith from the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys are ready to move on from him. I think it would be foolish, but I think they're ready to move on. But there's some teams that can use Tyron Smith. Tyron Smith could come in. If he's healthy, he's very good. Dallas doesn't have a running back. Pollard. First of all, Pollard was on the franchise tag this year, and we saw the way that Pollard played. There ain't no way in the world that they want Pollard to be their every down back. He was terrible. Derrick Henry to Baltimore. I like it. That's right, Tomlin. Pollard ain't an every down back. Not even close. Not even close. You saw what happened this year when he became the every down back. He wasn't even close. Wasn't even close to being the same guy. So, Saquon Barkley. The Chargers? You put Barkley in that offense? That wouldn't be horrible, would it? Saquon to the Chargers? Huh. Something to think about. Something to think about, man. Free agency, again, we'll get into a lot of that. We got a long way to go. So, what do I think that the Panthers need to compete? They need a lot. This is over on YouTube. My man, I want to say it's Javin, so we'll just come out and pronounce it as that. What do you think the Panthers need to do to compete, or at least a winning season? Offensive line, 1. Offensive weapons, number 2. Anything other than that, they should spend their top 4 picks on that. They got to fix that. They got to fix it. So, my man Pat Cockrell, I'd love to see Saquon in Dallas. Cowboys are much better when they can establish the run consistently. Yeah, they got to have a big thumper. And as much as people love, you know, they need a thumper. They got rid of their thumper in Ezekiel Elliott. And people love Tony Pollard until they figured out Tony Pollard just wasn't an every down back, and it was time to move on. And it was pretty obvious pretty early that he wasn't. So Mike DeRuler thinks that he wouldn't be mad if Queen left. You could probably find another Queen. Since you got Roquan Smith, you could find another Queen in the draft or free agency. Maybe not as good, but you can find somebody that's pretty serviceable. But you got to have that D lineman. You got to have that D lineman. So you're right there. You're absolutely right. All right. Moving on. And again, as always, people, just continue to, if you're on YouTube, again, the Monday through Friday, Big B Daily Show. We are live on YouTube. We're live on TikTok. We appreciate all of you guys being here. Keep tapping that screen if you're on TikTok. We want to get up to 10,000 likes and 30 follows. So if you're not following, please give us a follow. We appreciate it. Thank you. And YouTube, if you're not subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe. Same thing for TikTok. Click on the YouTube link in my bio and come subscribe on YouTube. Big B Sports Talk. We love you. We appreciate it. So the next topic, the top 5 running backs of all time. Now, the first thing is people will say, well, come on, Big B. Can't you get to 10? Yeah, we can get to 10. But I feel like top 5 is legitimate. And not that 10's not legitimate, but when you start getting down to 10, then it starts becoming more, of your personal favorites. It's really, really subjective. That's what I think. It gets really, really subjective. So you can put top 5 up there, and we can have difference of opinion. But when you start getting down to 10, then it almost becomes, what your preference is versus legitimate. So my top 5, you back it up, starting with 5, O.J. Simpson. Now, I know all you young cats are going to say, O.J.'s a killer. Okay, maybe he is, maybe he isn't. I don't need O.J. problems in my life. But either way, go back and look at some film on O.J. Simpson. The man was an absolute dynamo when it comes to being a running back. O.J. Simpson, number 5 in my top 5. O.J. Number 4, Eric Dickerson. The combination of speed, size, vision. Eric Dickerson was that guy. So that's just, if you haven't, again, for the young people out there, we used to run the football a lot. Eric Dickerson was a guy you could give the ball 30, 35 times a game. He's going to produce for you. He didn't wear down. He was going to produce for you. He played on a team where their quarterback was terrible, and he carried them to an NFC championship game. Now, they got destroyed by the Bears because, again, they couldn't throw the football. But Eric Dickerson is number 4 in my book. The man was absolutely incredible. Just incredible from the running back position. And again, number 5, O.J. Simpson. Number 4, Eric Dickerson. Number 3, Jim Brown. Jim Brown, Look, I mean, I didn't see Jim Brown play either. I've had to rely on YouTube and NFL films to really take a look at Jim Brown. And I know a lot of people will say, well, Jim Brown was as big as the lineman back in those days. Okay. But if you give Jim Brown the training and nutrition of today, Jim Brown would probably be 0.2 of a second faster, and he'd be 260 pounds running over these cats. And so, I mean, think Jim Brown is Derrick Henry, only a little faster and more athletic. That if you think of Derrick Henry, think Jim Brown, except Jim Brown is faster and he's more athletic, which means he's more elusive. That's what Jim Brown was. So that is the thing. No, it doesn't hurt me to say that as a Steelers fan. Honest is honest, you know. And if y'all know me, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be honest. So Jim Brown is that guy at number 3. Number 2, Walter Payton. I mean, the guy did it all. And he played on some bad Bears teams early on. Bad Bears teams. And he was still getting it done. I mean, he set the rushing record for the NFL at 275 yards, and his team was terrible. So, but Walter Payton is number 2 in my book. Could do it all. Athletic, speed, toughness, didn't run out of bounds. They gave it to him every snap. He didn't come out of the game. You know, he didn't run 3 plays and then tap out, like running backs do today. I love what Marshall Faulk said about running backs not getting paid. He said because they've done it to themselves. They tap out of the game and let owners and coaches and players and executives see another guy being able to do their job. I love that answer from Marshall Faulk. Stop coming out of the game, man. Stop coming out of the game. And back in the day, guys didn't come out of the game. You can say, oh, man, things are different now, Brien. You're right. They have more nutrition. They have more technology. They have access to way more than guys did in the 80s and 90s. And yet those guys never came out of the game, and they got the ball. If it was a 10-play drive, they got the ball 7 times. Now, if it's a 10-play drive, if you're the running back, you might get it 2 or 3 plays in a row, then you come out. And then you go back in, and then you get it 2 or 3 more plays. That's the difference. So, and last but not least, Barry Sanders is the number 1 running back of all time. Barry Sanders. Everything that he did, Barry Sanders. Elusive, speed. If you put Barry Sanders' 10 years that he played against anybody else's 10 years, his is better. His is better. Somebody put a list on TikTok. Sanders, Walter Payton, Emmitt Smith, Dickerson, and Tomlinson. Oh, my God. Emmitt Smith, give me a break. Give me a break. Emmitt Smith isn't anywhere close to the top 5. Not anywhere close. And Cowboys fans, you can be as mad as you want. I don't care. Emmitt Smith is a great running back. And let me repeat that because I don't think people are going to hear me. Emmitt Smith was a great running back. But he isn't anywhere close to being the top 5 running back of all time. He's just not. He's just not. Because you can't name anything that he did that was better than somebody else. Nothing. He wasn't faster, tougher, stronger, elusive, catch the ball out of the backfield. Now, he could do all those things, but of those 5 guys, those guys are better than him. So, but that's just waiting. We're not doing wide receivers today, brother. I know you've said that about 15 times. I promise you we're not doing that today. So, we'll get to that in plenty of time. So, what do y'all think? What do y'all think? Barry over Walter is crazy. Tell me why it's crazy. What did Walter do that was better than Barry? Other than maybe if you give it to him on the goal line. I would take Walter on the goal line. I would definitely do that. But other than that, nothing. Eric Dickerson was one of the best. Yeah. That's why I had him at number 4. We'll recap it. 5 was OJ, 4 was Dickerson, 3 was Jim Brown, 2 was Walter, 1 was Barry. Adrian Peterson is not better than Barry Sanders. John Riggins. Love Riggins, but no. Not anywhere in the top 5 or top 10 of running backs. Marcus Allen was clutch in short yardage. Yes, he was. Marcus Allen's underrated, too. A lot of people may or may not like Marcus Allen, but Marcus Allen is underrated. Somebody had Sanders, Walter, Brown, Dickerson, and Peterson. Peterson is definitely in my top 7. I just like OJ better. I like the list. I like that. But I like OJ better. Where did Marcus Allen play? He played for the Raiders and for the Chiefs. But I think Marcus Allen's underrated. I think he's underrated. So, my man Al Woody says Tony Dorsett. Now, if we were talking about college running backs, I don't know that Tony Dorsett's not in the top 3. If we're just talking about just strictly college running backs, I don't know that he's not in the top 3. So, not in the top 3. I don't think that I think he has to be. But as far as NFL, I don't think Tony Dorsett gets there. I don't think he gets there. So, Amon Green is a top 15 running back? Woo! I mean, come on, Packer fans. Y'all are reaching this morning. I know Amon Green's not anywhere close to a top 15 running back. So, can Dickerson be top 3? No. I got him at 4, and I think the gap is further between Jim Brown and Dickerson. Yeah. I think Dickerson is 4. I think there's a big gap between those 3. Because I don't think the gap between the top 3 is any different. Or let me just say this. The gap between the top 3 is shorter than the gap between 3 and 4. That's what I'll say. So, the gap between 3 and 4 is larger than it is between 1 through 3. CMC is not in that conversation. So, what about my gap, boss man? What about your mother's? What about her gap? Oops. Adrian Peterson, top 3. Nah, not top 3. Not top 3. So, I like Peterson, though. Oh, here's the thing. Higgins stays in Cincy. Boyd goes to Pittsburgh. I don't want Boyd in Pittsburgh. He doesn't move the needle in Pittsburgh. We don't need him. We got 2 guys that are better than Boyd. So why would we pay him that kind of money? So, but I like Boyd. Don't get me wrong, but he doesn't do anything in Pittsburgh. We don't need him in Pittsburgh. The Steelers need to concentrate on a quarterback before they do anything. So getting a wide receiver, and if he came to Pittsburgh, he would be a wide receiver number 3. So, you think Boyd will be expensive? I don't know that Boyd will be super expensive, but I think he's going to demand probably number 2 wide receiver money. And the Steelers don't need to pay him wide receiver 2 money. Like he doesn't, like, for instance, does he deserve the same contract that Deontay Johnson deserves? No. And you're right. Boyd is not a number 2 receiver. He'll get overpaid. You're 1,000% correct, my man. And Boyd is a number 3. He'll get overpaid. He'll go somewhere and get a bunch of money to be a number 2, maybe even a number 1 if that team is desperate. But yeah, he wouldn't move the needle in Pittsburgh. Steelers don't need that. So, Steelers don't need that. Now here's a hot take, people. Wacan says the greatest college running back was Archie Griffin because he's a 2-time Heisman winner. Yeah, you can miss me with the 2-time Heisman winner stuff. Gino Torretta won a Heisman. Let's let that sink in. Gino Torretta won a Heisman. There's a lot of people that don't on TikTok that don't even know who the hell that is. But he won a Heisman, and it wasn't 100 years ago either, people. So winning a Heisman doesn't qualify you for being one of the best ever. I'm sorry. I'm not saying it hurts, but because you won it twice, we just seen there's people that have won the Heisman that aren't anywhere close to being the top of anything. Like I said, Gino Torretta won a Heisman, and I would bet and be willing to say that 75 to 85% of the people that are in the live on TikTok and the live on YouTube, without using Google, don't even know who the hell that is. And I don't blame you for not knowing because he ain't really rememberable. So that's just personal, though. That got a little personal for me. I apologize. I got a little personal. Barry Sanders is the best running back of all time. We covered that, Julius. We know. Ricky Williams, Herschel Walker, Bo Jackson, Barry Sanders. Maybe in college, but not in the pros. So Dickerson had one of the greatest seasons of all time. We had Dickerson at 4. So would you take Kirk Cousins in Pittsburgh? Yeah, I would. I need a 5-year commitment from Kirk Cousins, though. I don't need a 2-year commitment from him. I need a 5-year commitment from Kirk Cousins. We get 5 years out of Kirk Cousins. Yeah, I'll take him in Pittsburgh. So I would take him in Pittsburgh. What QB does Pittsburgh need? We need one that's functional. We need one that can make a play when things break down. We need a functional quarterback. We don't need baby hands Pickett. We don't need that. I'm sorry. I know there's a lot of baby hands defenders, baby hands apologists that come in the chat every day that are Steelers fans. As a Steeler fan, stop accepting mediocrity. I've said it once. I'll say it 1,000,000 times. Mediocrity is the death of your franchise. You got to stop accepting it. And that goes for everybody. Everybody that's a fan of somebody, stop accepting mediocrity. It is the death of your franchise. Stop accepting it. Don't just say, well, this guy, he's okay. We can live with it. No, I don't want to live with it. I want to win. Damn, living with it. Show me something. The Steelers got Geno. Or not the Steelers, the Seahawks got Geno. Mediocrity equals the Atlanta Falcons, says Shelby on TikTok. Yes. Pat Cockrell over on YouTube. People, y'all will respect this. 100%. Look at the Cowboys. The Cowboys are the perfect example of accepting mediocrity. I mean, at some point, they got to make a move and just say, we're going for it. We're done with the nonsense. I don't know what they're going to do. Speaking of free agents, Dak isn't a free agent. But what are they going to do? He's owed $60 million this year. There's no way they can pay him $60 million. And they can't cut him because if they cut him, it's like a $68 million dead cap hit or something crazy. So they can't cut him. But if I'm them, I'm saying, look, Dak, we'll extend you. But you're going to have to take a pay cut, my man. You're not worth $55, $60 million, and you know it. So we want you, but you got to take a pay cut. And if I'm Dallas, if he doesn't take the pay cut, I just come out and say, hey, we wanted to have a more competitive team, but Dak Prescott would not take a pay cut in order to do so. So we couldn't pay more guys to put around him. So if we don't succeed this year, it's because Dak Prescott took all the money. Now, don't get me wrong. I want players to get all the money they can. But you got to look at it from both sides. Dak Prescott wouldn't take a pay cut so we could pay more people. So the season's on him. So the season is on him. Either he can get us there or he can't get us there. Good luck. That cannot be a comfortable feeling for Cowboys fans. It just can't be. They have to be upset about it. They have to be upset about it. So, Pittsburgh gets Tyler Lockett. Are they going to cut him? I was thinking that the other day. I wouldn't mind Lockett. To add to what we already have. I wouldn't mind that. Wouldn't mind it at all. But we'll see what happens, though. But yeah, man, this free agency, I can't wait for it to start. Can't wait for it to start. It's going to start right before March Madness or right around the same time. It'll be giddy. It'll be real nice and juicy in here. We got March Madness. We got free agency. I'm looking forward to March Madness. I don't know about you all. Even though both of my teams are not going to be in the tournament, K-State or Louisville, neither one of them are going to even smell the NCAA tournament. But that doesn't matter. I love March Madness. I love competitive football or competitive basketball. I love college basketball. I'm debating on whether we're going to stream some games. My head is basically going to explode because with YouTube TV and the quad view on, with all 4 games, I'm going to feel like I'm in Vegas. Watching NCAA tournament games. We might just stream it, people. We may just do that. We'll see what happens. So, we're going to shut this one down for today, everybody. I appreciate everybody being here, man. Well, like I said, we're growing. I don't know if you can see, but I got the Big B Sports Talk hoodie on. If y'all can't see the Big B Sports Talk hoodie over on TikTok, we're about ready to drop our Goon Squad t-shirts for you guys. It's getting real close. We got some Big B Sports Talk, the Goon Squad. We got the Goon Squad t-shirts for you guys. So I appreciate everybody being there and everybody picking one up. We'll drop that. We'll put it in TikTok Shop. We'll put it on YouTube. We'll put it everywhere for everybody to pick up a Goon Squad. Make it make sense will be the second round. And then Fraud Alert t-shirt. You know we got to have Fraud Alert t-shirts, man. So we know we got to do that. So we'll have those starting to trickle out here. So I appreciate all the support. I appreciate everybody being here, man. So again, thank you guys. And TikTok, if you're not following, please give us a follow. We appreciate it. And click the YouTube link in my bio and come subscribe to Big B Sports Talk. And if you are subscribed over on Big B Sports Talk, we appreciate that as well. And if you're not and you're watching, please subscribe to us. Other than that, we are out of here. We will be back tomorrow. And I appreciate everybody being here, man. Thank you, guys.